Hi there, I'm Zen and welcome to another video. This video is how to download, install and set up the lovely Visual Studio Code program so you can code to your heart's content. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Zen, you've done a wonderful pen drive system which you've put up on tinycc/7pen. Why in the world would we want Visual Studio Code? Because it's already installed on there. Well, that's a really good question, and the answer is quite simple. That I've had a bundle of requests for this video. Now, when I say bundle, it's probably about 3 people if I'm honest, but since I've got about 35 followers, that's about 10% of my users. And basically what they're saying is, look, we're in lockdown, we're working from home, there's no point using pen drive, I just want it on my computer. Can you show us how to do that? So that's what this video is. And obviously the first thing we need to do is to download it. So we have Google, and it doesn't have to be Google obviously, and what we want to do is go to code.visualstudio.com. okay, now I need to make it clear there are 2 places you can go there, and also visualstudio.microsoft.com. I don't recommend going to this one. Okay, it's not that it's got the wrong files, because here it is in the middle, we can see it nice and blue tag here, Visual Studio Code with all the download options. The problem is people get confused and they download Visual Studio, not Visual Studio Code. Now these are both made by Microsoft. Okay, this one is sort of more complete and it's very good if you're using the .NET framework. It also supports languages that aren't supported by Visual Studio Code, namely Visual Basic. Now don't ask me why you want to code in Visual Basic. Okay, it's been like the #1 program developers don't want you to have, or companies don't want you to have, for I don't know how many years in a row, but there will be some people that want to do it, and some schools are teaching it because they think it's an easy language to learn, so that's it. But if you go to code.visualstudio.com, you can't choose the wrong program. The only thing you can do is to download the wrong version. Obviously I'm on Windows, so that's what I'm going to do and download it here. Will download. Yep. Okay, so it's downloaded. Next thing to do is to run it, and that could be simpler. You just run it like you would do any other program you've downloaded. And of course you've got to accept the agreement where you agree to give him one of your kidneys and your left lung and maybe your firstborn as well. Select next. Where you want to install it, entirely up to you. What do you want it to say? And the only thing I'd really say here is that you may want a desktop item, and you might want to add these 2 options here as well. That's entirely up to you. And press next and install, and I'm pretty sure you know what happens here. And there we go, we see it's installed, so then why not start it up and let's see what happens. Okay, so this is what we'll get when we start up. Now obviously for me, because I've installed and uninstalled this about a dozen times for this video, this is about the millionth time I've tried this video, but this is essentially what it look like. You probably won't have anything in your recents. Now the next thing to do is to think about the extensions. So when we have a look at the extensions, you can see there are 1 or 2 of them. To be honest, there's 23,911 at the time of this recording, because you can see it. Now if you're doing web design, okay, there's a couple of important ones I'd really go for. The first one, especially if you're following my videos, would perhaps be Beautify. Okay, that just makes your code look a bit nicer. There are a few others that I use as well, which I'll find them as I go along. I don't know why beats come up. The other one is the SAS compiler. Okay, we'll wait for it to come up. Why can't you find SAS? Okay, it looks like I've installed 2 things that I didn't want to install. It's a great way to show you how to uninstall something. So uninstall and uninstall. Right, let's try that again, shall we? Beautify. There. Is it because I can't spell Beautify? There we go, that's my problem. Okay, and it looks like there's 2 versions of it, but First one's normally okay. And then let's try again for SA. What we're looking for is for the live server. There we go, live SAS compiler down here. This is the one we want. We want it for two reasons. Number one, obviously we'll be looking at doing SAS in these videos, but also it installs a really cool program whilst it's being done, which is the live server. Okay, so if I get rid of that now, we can see that we've now got live server and live SAS compiler along with Beautify. So all Beautify does is to make some of our icons and some of our text look a bit nicer. And the other one, like I say, is this SAS compiler, which we'll talk about more when we start doing SASS and SCSS. And then live server, which allows us, as you'll see from here, as you're writing your code and save it, it will automatically update how your page looks. Okay, so you don't have to keep reloading your browser each time you do a small update. Okay, and the next thing you need to do, or the last thing you need to do for this video, is to actually open up your files. Okay, now you can see here I haven't got anything open. Now there are two things you can do. You can actually open up workspaces, but I would say don't do workspaces at the start because they can be a bit confusing. All you want to do is open folder, and for me, I'm doing one on the desktop. I'm going into my learning folder because I've already got some folders set up. Okay, so we set the folder. It does actually restart, or does a semi-restart of it, and so it can take a while for it to refresh. Okay, and here we have the folders in there, and that's it. You're good to go. That's all you need to install and get going. Feel absolutely free to have a look at all of the other extensions. Sometimes you have to type things in and you will see the whole list that comes up. As you start working, it will come up with some more recommended ones for you. But do feel free to search the marketplace for additional ones you want to do. Do be aware that some may clash with others. But that's the end of this video. Less than 10 minutes, perfect. Next video, we're going to start creating some basic files and learning some basic HTML and CSS. I'm Zen. See you next time. Signing off.